Hi, welcome back. In my last video, I told you about the science behind EFT, and in this video, I'm going to teach the techniques of EFT, which will be very practical, which you can practice on a day-to-day basis, and you can use it to solve your specific problems and reduce your stress. Remember, in our last video, I gave you an example of the TV set. Now just assume that this TV does not work up to the mark. The picture is not clear, the sound is very irritating. Now if you can't see a clear picture in the TV and the sound is very irritating, what would happen? You would get very irritated, you would get frustrated, and you would feel like throwing this TV away out of the window. That's one solution. Another solution would be to call for the mechanic. Now the same happens with us. If you have blockages in your system, what happens? You tend to get very negative. You have these negative emotions coming up, and because of negative emotions you get a lot of stress, and this stress disrupts our thinking, disrupts our action, and it affects the result that we produce in life. So we also need to call upon someone to solve this problem, and the solution I already told you is EFT. Now in this segment, I'm going to teach you the ways you can tap and the various tapping points, the affirmations you need to use, the intensity meter, and then how you could do it on a day-to-day basis. So let's start with the tapping part. Now you can do your tapping with 2 fingers like this. You could do the tapping with 4 fingers like this, and you could bring all these fingers together and tap like this. Now you need to tap at a particular tapping point 7 times. You need to use your dominant hand. For example, my right hand is my dominant hand, so I use this one. If your left hand is a dominant, you use your left hand. Now you can tap on the right side of your body, you can tap on the left side of your body. Both is okay. But you need not tap both the sides, you can tap any one side. Now let me show you the various tapping points. This is what great about Gary Craig. He boiled down these tapping points to a very few very important tapping points, so that the tapping process could be done in a very small amount of time, and we could practice it every day. So pay close attention to the tapping points. The first tapping point I want to show you is the karate chop point. This is known as the karate chop point, and we tap here like this. Then we have is the crown here. You tap here like this. This is known as the crown point. Then we have is the eyebrow. We tap with 2 fingers here. Then we have is the side of the eye. So you tap here. Then below the eye here. Then below the nose. Then on this chin part here exactly. You tap here. And then you bring all the fingers together and tap at the collarbone here, and keeping the fingers again together under the arm like this, and then 2 fingers again on the thumb, then on your index finger, middle finger, and the small finger. You don't tap on this one, So these were the tapping points. Let us repeat them once again. One is the karate chop, the crown, the eyebrow, the side of the eye, below the eye, below the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, thumb, index finger, middle finger, small finger. You need to remember the sequence of these tapping points. Next we have another important aspect, which we call it as the 9 gamut procedure. Now we have another very important point known as the gamut point. This gamut point is here. Between these two bones here, you can see a little depression here. There is a soft portion here. So we need to take 4 fingers and we need to tap here, right? And while we are tapping, we have to do 9 things. They are the 9-step procedures. Now let me show you what are these 9 things. First is we close our eyes. Next, we open the eyes. Then we see on the right side down. Then we see left side down. Then we move our eyes clockwise. Then we move our eyes anti-clockwise. Then we hum a tune. Then we count the numbers 1 to 5. Then we hum a tune again. And these are the 9 steps. So let me show you this. So I'm doing like this. Eyes closed, eyes open. Right, left, clockwise, anti-clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was the 9 gamut procedure. Next, very important in EFT is using some affirmations or positive statements. The reason why we use these affirmations is we have to focus our tapping towards a specific problem. So Gary Craig has given these statements in a very, in a very standard format. You have to use the standard format. It goes like this: even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely accept myself. For example, even though I have this fear of public speaking, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this anger against my friend, I deeply and completely accept myself. So whenever you tap, you have to say these phrases. So more about this a little later. Next, I want to talk about the EFT cycle. In EFT cycle, there are a few steps. First is the setup. Next is the sequence. Then you have the 9 gamut procedure, and then the setup, then the sequence once again. That completes one complete EFT cycle. For every problem, you have to complete an EFT cycle. So let me show you a complete cycle. Let's take the problem is my fear of public speaking. So I start with the setup. Setup is start with the karate chop and say like this: even though I have this problem of fear of public speaking, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear of public speaking, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear of public speaking, I deeply and completely accept myself. You have to say these affirmations 3 times at the karate chop point. Now when you go to the other tapping points, you have to shorten this phrase, right? Now I say like this: this fear of public speaking, 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 this fear of public speaking. Now the 9 gamut procedure. One, two, three, four, five, one. This fear of public speaking, 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 this fear of public speaking. Now I have completed one EFT cycle. That's the way you have to do it for any problem you wish to work on. Then we have what is known as an intensity meter. Before you actually do EFT, you try to evaluate yourself, where are you on your fear level. For example, how scared am I of public speaking on a scale of 0 to 10? If I'm absolutely shit scared, that means I am on 10. So if I'm a little scared, I am 7 or 8. If I'm not at all scared, I'm a 0. So let's take, when I think about my level or intensity of fear, it is 10. Then once I do the EFT cycle, I close my eyes, take a deep breath, and then ask myself, Rajiv, where are you on this intensity meter? So do I feel that my stress or fear has come down a little? If no, then keep on repeating these cycles. Now as we go along, we'll find that our intensity keeps reducing. Let's take my fear in most situations has reduced when I speak in public, but still at times I do feel a little fearful, a little scared. And what I do is I change my affirmations now. Now when I tap on my karate chop point, now my words would be, even though I still have this remaining fear of public speaking, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I still have some fear of public speaking, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then the condensed, shortened version would be this remaining fear of public speaking. And that's how we go. I hope you people have understood these tapping points and tapping techniques. If you have not understood, no, don't worry, we'll practice them in the conference room. Now, before I sign off from this video, I want to tell you to do some things. One, I think, is you go to the internet and do a little more research on this EFT. You'll get a lot of material on the internet. Try to learn this technique, fine-tune it to solve your own problems, read books on this. Then I would also like to recommend a course which is conducted by one Dr. Pradeep Pawar. He does this course on EFT. You can learn from that as well. You want more details, you can speak to Mr. Vivek Patki. He is a close friend of Dr. Pradeep Pawar. So I hope you will benefit from this technique. So let's actually practice and do them. So thanks for watching. Take care.